Well, hello and welcome to the questions and answers section of our virtual open day. My name's Doug Norton. I work in admissions and marketing here in the school. I'm joined today by our headmistress, Mrs. Gill Thorne.
Hello.
Our head of sixth form, Mr. John Goode.
Morning.
Our head of middle school, Mrs. Elmien Niblett.
Good morning.
We also have with us our head of senior school, Mrs. Sharon Goode as well. The purpose of this conversation is really to discuss the middle school through to the sixth form, so the ages of 10 through to 18. Now, if you are interested in the prep school or the nursery, we actually have a separate video hosted on Zoom, which you can watch. But it's well worth watching this one as well, because there'll be some broad general information which is of use to you. And actually, a lot of our students start in the nursery or they start in the prep school, and they stay all the way through until the sixth form. So it's very useful to you to understand how they develop as they go on through the school. Now, we've got a lot of questions here which have been sent in from parents. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, so I'm going to dive in and ask the panel some of our questions. So the first one is for you, Gill, and the question is, how would my child benefit from attending an independent school?
Well, countless parents decide to opt for independent education, and for a variety of reasons. At the base of it all, most parents would sacrifice anything to give their child the best start in life and the best opportunities available. After all, what do you work for? Material possessions are nothing compared to the value of a superb education which can empower their child to reach their full potential in whatever sphere, academically, in sport, in drama, music, and so many areas. At an independent school, we recognise and value not just excellent academic grades, but also the importance of learning how to get on with others from all kinds of backgrounds and cultures, the fun of being involved in sport and competing for our house, of taking a part in a play or helping out with the technical side and lighting, or of playing an instrument in front of peers and parents at a concert. All these things and many more prepare students to be more independent in their learning and in their interaction with others, finding common ground and working together as a team. Students who decide to board, whether flexi-boarding or full boarding, find this to be the case in particular, as they can meet others from all over the world and from different parts of this country, creating lifelong friends and being able to network with them in their future lives.
Excellent. Well, great answer. Thank you very much. And I think we'll stick with you, Gill, for the second question as well, which is, do you have many children that join Lucton from state schools? And if so, how easy is it for them to make that transition?
Yes, we have very many students who join us from state schools and find it exceptionally easy to adapt and make the transition. Quite a number join us in year 7, year 9, and also in the sixth form as well. I suppose that there's less focus on statistics and SATs and more focus on your child and what they are good at, introducing them to a much wider selection of activities and opportunities. One aspect of Lucton that has been commented upon is that we are not pretentious. Certainly for some, the fees are no problem, but for the most, great sacrifices are made by parents to send their children here because they know that Lucton provides such wonderful opportunities for their children. Most parents feel that it is more advantageous to empower their child through the many and varied learning opportunities available than to spend it on material possessions or expensive holidays, for instance.
Excellent, thank you. And this one's for Elmien, and this question is about the transition from the prep school to the middle school. And the question is, my son is currently in primary school and will join his next school in year 7. Why do pupils leave the prep school in year 5 and join the middle school in year 6? I'm confused.
And well, several years ago, we thought we would try that because first of all, we thought the year 5s were ready. At the end of year 5, it seems that they are ready to move up. And we decided to do that because we realized that taking the year 6s into our middle school would provide an excellent bridge between the primary education and secondary education. It is a huge step up for students when they primary school key stage 2 to key stage 3, but they suddenly have more subjects, specialist teachers, let alone then having to join a new school. So the transition from our year sixes, for our year sixes into year 7, into Key Stage 3 is really smooth. We gently cut the apron strings. The year sixes are still treated in some ways like primary school children, in as much as they have their own classroom, their own dedicated space, with their own form tutor teaching most of their subjects. They still have, like in a primary school, their own trays at the back of their classroom where they can keep personal possessions. They have their own cloakroom dedicated to year 6 and changing rooms. However, we do use a lot of specialist teachers to do the teaching for them. So they experience the science labs, the amazing art room we have in our senior school, the big ICT room, and also the CDT workshop. And on all these subjects and many others, they are taught by subject specialists. And so they already know the teachers when they move up to year 7 to Key Stage 3. Not only is it the teachers and the subject specialists and the venues that they get to know, but they also get to know the senior students of the school. So that makes the transition into Key Stage 3 so much easier as well. There is not this daunting idea of big people around that they have to mix and mingle with. We do have some shared break times where they get to meet the senior students and spend some time with them as well. And there's a lovely relationship between our year 6s and the seniors, the 6th formers and year 11s of the school. So that, again, that step into year 7 is just made so much easier by them already being used to routines and bigger people and specialist teachers and venues, etc. If your son is in year 7, in year 6 currently and thinking of coming into year 7, as Mrs. Thorne said, we have several new starters in year 7, and we have an excellent buddy system in place where, because some of our year 7s have been in our year 6 in Lucton, they know the ropes, they know where to go, they know the venues, and they buddy the new students in year 7, and therefore it's much easier for those coming into year 7 to sort of settle in quickly and get used to the system. Also, we have excellent form tutors who very, very quickly, not only in year 7, in all the year groups, but in year 7 in this case, get to know these students very quickly, and they're always on hand to help, and so are all the other teachers in the school. So it really works for us, that transition in from Key Stage 2 into Key Stage 3 with a huge step up academically. All the other things are covered by bringing them in year 6.
Excellent, thank you. And we'll stick with you for this one too. So the next question is, how long is the school day, and do you have any extracurricular clubs or activities for them to take part in?
Oh, right, yes. So the school starts, the registration is at 20 to 9, and the school day ends at 5 o'clock. And it might sound like a really long day, and it is, but we are keeping the children busy with very worthwhile activities, and of course the academic side that takes priority. But yes, during the school day, we have the normal sports, drama, music that you would expect from, I suppose, many other schools. But also we have a dedicated activity program that we run on a Tuesday and a Thursday, which we call our enrichment program. And during this time, teachers really have the opportunity to offer absolutely anything that they feel passionate about, that the children will benefit from. So we have had things like chess, fencing, astronomy, knitting, board games, modern foreign languages, Warhammer, badminton. I mean, the list goes on and on. But other than the Tuesday and Thursday enrichment activities, of course, we also spend the whole Wednesday afternoon doing our game session and playing our matches and fixtures against other schools. So a long school day, but when the children go home, other than the prep, everything is done, because we also offer the peripatetic lessons like music and lambda, so activities that they would normally have to do after school when they are not in a school like Lucton.
That's nicer for parents, isn't it, as well? They haven't got to drive them off to some sports.
Yes. Everything is covered.
Yeah. Okay, and then if we just hop back to Gill for this one. So Lucton has a reputation locally for sport. What kind of sports do you offer?
Well, we have an extremely varied selection of sports available, from rugby, football, hockey, basketball, badminton, netball, cricket, tennis, athletics, fencing, cross-country running, swimming. We host major events at Lucton, such as our tercentenary run, which often welcomes 600 or 700 students from around the area. And we also have a cross-country run against the local running club at Croft Ambury each Boxing Day. We host huge Independent Schools Association events in rugby and football, and also a number of ISA swimming events, a triathlon, and also our annual aquathlon. So all of this goes on with the backdrop of weekly matches in all seasonal sports, mostly taking place on a Wednesday afternoon, which is our sports afternoon for seniors. The prep school also has matches, but these tend to be on other days of the week. We mustn't forget, of course, that we also have a stables with 14 horses, and we regularly host horse riding competitions. And of course, lessons go on every day for students learning to ride or to gain their advanced instructor qualification.
Excellent, thank you very much. Now, we've got a question for Mrs. Goode. Is Mrs. Goode back yet?
No, she's not here yet still. She's got to do a morning briefing. It's as simple as that. She'll be here soon.
Well, perhaps I can offer this one to, well, who wants to answer this? I'll read the question out and somebody can jump on it. So the question is, what systems do you have in place to support children with learning difficulties?
Well, we have some excellent systems because we've got a very, very competent and dedicated SEN team led by Mrs. Taxis. We assess all the students individually for a wide range of specific learning difficulties. And we apply all the normal criteria to get them the extra time they need, for example, in public exams and so on. When those difficulties are identified, tailored programs are put in place to support the students, either in class or through additional support. So we have TAs and extra lessons if necessary to support students. All the teachers are very, very mindful of the fact that they may well have students in their classes who have got SEN needs, and they will differentiate their teaching accordingly to ensure that the progress is made equally by all students of their ability or indeed any specific learning difficulty. And I think that's very much borne out by the results that we get both in year 10 and in year 13. So the package is very comprehensive. It's full, it's professional, and without any doubt whatsoever, students with a range of specific learning difficulties and other SEN needs can be catered for and make all the progress that they possibly could at Lucton. Okay,
excellent. The next question as well was on a sort of similar area, but what's Lucton's approach to dealing with bullying?
I could answer that, Doug. As pastoral deputy, it probably falls under my remit as well. But yes, of course, first of all, we've got an excellent bullying policy in place. So everybody that starts at Lucton knows that our expectations and that we have a culture of no tolerance to bullying. However, we recognise that it does happen. It happens everywhere in the world, not only in schools but also in the workplace. And then, there are many occasions where bullying does take place. So we need to be prepared for that. So what we've put in place is, first of all, a system where the children can talk to somebody other than their form tutors or any other adult they feel comfortable with. We have got a listening service where teachers have been trained as listeners to that students can go to. On our computer system, we have a confide button which the children can use to confidentially send a message to our DSL, Mrs. Goode, who will then pick it up and deal with it from there. We have boxes around the school where they can put in little notes if they want to make us aware of any bullying that goes on. But I do believe that our children are very much on board with the anti-bullying culture that we have at school. And I think talking and telling, we've got a culture of telling as well. We encourage the children to talk to teachers if something does go wrong. But as I say, you do sometimes have bullying in every sphere of life. And when we become aware of a bullying case, we deal with both the victim and the perpetrator, and also with their parents. So we take them through a process where they have to deal with the bullying, where they have to admit that they've been wrong, they have to apologise, they have to reflect, and also we like there to be closure. So we keep both the victim and the perpetrator informed of the whole process that we go through, and then hopefully that does help to put a stop to it.
Excellent, thank you very much. And we'll have some questions about the sixth form now. So if we go to you, John. So why would somebody want to study at Lucton sixth form as opposed to a larger local sixth form or a specialist provider?
Well, I guess the most important reason is the class sizes we have and the excellence of the teaching that we've got in the sixth form. We offer a very broad academic curriculum in the sixth form based on A-levels, although we do offer a BTEC in health and social care as well. And all the teachers are experts in their field. So the students will be getting experienced, highly qualified and expert guidance. And of course, they are working in very, very small classes. Generally speaking, classes range between about 5 and 10 at most. When you compare that to, for example, a large sixth form college where students might well be in classes of up to 35 students. And they simply wouldn't get the sort of individual guidance and support that they would get here at Lucton. One of the things that is, I think, very, very important is that we tailor the timetable to suit individual needs. Very often, students come to us with quite particular and peculiar combinations of A-level subjects that they want to study. And in many schools, those combinations simply cannot be facilitated. Here, we will try essentially to write the timetable around the needs of the individual students, rather than simply saying to the student, "This is what this is what's on offer. Take it or leave it." We will actually tailor a program specifically for their needs and interests, and obviously, those needs and interests often relate to higher education and career. So it's important that they should have those, that tailored program. We try to teach the sixth formers in a very collegiate fashion. We try and treat them as students rather than as pupils, and they are taught in such a way as to make it easier for them, I think, to transfer into higher education at a later stage. They're also in very, very small tutor groups. So not only do they get excellent academic guidance, they also get first-class individual personal guidance as well. A-levels are not easy, and that age between 16 and 18 is often a tricky time for individuals as well. So it's very, very important that their academic progress is supported by pastoral progress as well. And once again, if they're in a large sixth form, or possibly another provider, they may well be in a tutor group of 20 to 30 students, whereas here they'd be in a tutor group of probably about 8 students. So once again, they will be getting very, very personal, guided, tailored support to help them through what is a very, very challenging time.
Okay, well that leads perfectly into the next question, which was, do all students go to university? And if so, where do they go generally? And how do you support students in applying to university?
Well, yes, I mean, the short answer is every student who has wanted to go to university, and we must recognise that not all students do want to go to university, and perhaps I'll touch on that a bit later on. But certainly every student from Lucton, in my memory, that has wanted to go to university has indeed gone to university. As to the universities they go to, the universities they go to are the ones generally to which they apply. So we have a very, very good record at getting students into their chosen universities. Every year we have a tiny number of students going through clearing because they failed to get into the university of their choice. I say every year. In fact, it's probably no more than 2 or 3 students in the last 12 years. Wow. So we're very, very, very successful in getting students into their chosen university. Now, part of the reason for that is the guidance they get in their application. And once again, in line with what I was saying about their academic, the support we give them academically and the support we give them pastorally, they get a huge amount of individual support in careers and higher education. In essence, I, as the higher education advisor, am at their disposal from the moment they enter the sixth form to the moment that they transfer to university, to provide them with one-to-one guidance on every aspect, from choosing courses and institutions, from writing their personal statements, from dealing with interview questions, preparing them for open days or applicant days, right the way through to results day, when, generally speaking, as I say, the news is very good. But if there is, on the very rare occasion, somebody doesn't get into one of their chosen universities, we will hold their hand also through the clearing process as well. Mm-hmm. So in essence, they are given one-to-one guidance every single step of the way. In terms of the sorts of universities that students go to, we have a very good record of getting students into the best quality universities every year. We get students into Russell Group universities. We get students into competitive fields, including engineering and medicine particularly. I wouldn't say that the school has a specialism as such, because, as I said, all the A-level teaching across the board is excellent. But we are very, very strong in science. And as I say, we have had over the past 3 years particularly, a number of students get into medicine in UK universities, which is incredibly competitive and very, very difficult to get into normally. As somebody who attended Cambridge myself, I'm very fortunate to have links with Cambridge and also personal links with Oxford, and students who wish to apply to Oxbridge will get, I hope, excellent advice on how to do that, and also will benefit from these personal relationships that I have with those two institutions as well. So the higher education guidance they get matches the academic support and the pastoral support, and it really is the best, I think, that can be offered. But we do recognise that for some students, university is not the right option. So we don't ignore their needs at all. The same service, the same one-to-one tailored and personal advice is available for students who want to go straight into the workplace, and particularly into apprenticeships. And we've had a number of students go into apprenticeships in the last few years in various fields, from accountancy to veterinary nursing, ICT, the services, the armed forces. So once again, students get excellent personal guidance on apprenticeships and the world of work. We are very fortunate to have a very supportive parental body, and if we need to provide, for example, specific work experience or specific guidance in a particular career or field, then we are always able to contact a parent. I'm thinking particularly this year of a student who wished to go into architecture, and we have a very, very highly qualified, professional, experienced architect as a parent who's provided him with some first-class guidance. The other option that is realistically available to students post-18, of course, is the gap year. And once again, any student who wishes to go on a gap year will get tailored one-to-one guidance on how they might structure and fund their gap year. So whatever the destination of the student post-18, we can provide first-class, tailored, individual one-to-one guidance. And students generally move on from Lucton very confidently into the outside world. It's been mentioned previously about the range of opportunities provided by the school through things like music, drama, sport, and so on. Those activities and character building traits continue into the sixth form. So sixth formers get superb opportunities for personal development. And one of the things that we notice, for example, with our university students, is that we have an absolutely negligible dropout rate. Students who go to university from Lucton stick the course because they have the strength, the resilience, and the skills to cope with the outside world. So, by a range of criteria, the sixth form, I think, delivers an excellent support education for students moving forward. And as I say, the best thing that we do for them is that we allow them to move to take their next steps, their chosen next steps, whether that's higher education, whether that's the world of work, whether it's a gap year, and they take those steps with confidence, and inevitably they're successful.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. We've just got time for 2 more questions. One is for Elmien and one is going to be for Gill. So the question for Elmien is, how do you monitor students' progress?
Well, Doug, we throughout, it's probably better that John as Director of Studies answer this one, but I will speak on his behalf. Of course, we track the students academically by using not only our internal assessments and exams, but also, of course, the external assessments. Every student at the beginning of the year is assessed by Gill assessments, which is a standardized assessment that we use across the school, and that shows us progress from one year to the next. But other than that, we have the teacher assessments, we have the formal examinations, and on Schoolbase, our central school system, we keep track of their academic performance, and of course also we look at their social and mental well-being alongside that, and make sure that every student makes the progress that they are able to make and works to the best of their ability and achieve to the best of their ability.
Okay, that's great, thank you very much. And just introduce Mrs. Goode there. Mrs. Goode is the head of the senior school. Unfortunately, she got held up a little bit earlier on, but if you come to the school, she's lovely. So you'll get to see a lot more of Mrs. Goode. But the last question we've got is for Gill, and it's just a simple question. Are scholarships and bursaries available?
Yes, indeed there are. There are bursaries available at all stages for parents who need assistance. Otherwise, scholarships are available for entry into Year 7 and into the 6th form.
Excellent, thank you very much. Well, thank you for all your time this morning. It's been really, really informative, and I hope that the viewers at home have really enjoyed it. If you do have any more questions, please get in contact with us. You can call us on our main school number, which is on our website, or you can contact admissions@luctonschool.org as well. And I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us, and all the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.